if day trading patterns repeat, the more time we spend looking at the charts, the better we can become at day trading, right? If we look at the charts over and over and over and analyze the charts, trying to have an idea of where the market will go with certain patterns, certain breakouts, certain setups, the more that we're looking at the charts, the better we're going to become. At least we have to believe that. Today, I want to go back and look at the last 4 days, last week, get an idea of where the market was at, where it opened at, where it closed at, what levels were really in play, and what did we miss to not be able to capitalize off some of the bigger moves. Let's dive into the charts for a little Sunday chart review. Let's go. So since this week was a short week, let's just start out with Tuesday here. We'll do Tuesday morning around 9:15. That's when I normally log in, start trading. So we can see here Tuesday morning, we had some action. We can see here Tuesday morning, looking at the charts right now, what we have going on. And we can see we had the previous day high right there at the 50s, the previous quarter high, the previous weekly high up there at the 188s, and the previous month high there at the 09. So these are the levels that are on the Lux Algo price concepts indicator that I've been using, and it is already drawn on the chart. So going into open here, we saw we had a rise up at open. Basically what I would want to see here at open, looking at this now, 9 o'clock, let's go ahead and just play it out a little bit here. So going into open, right there's the 945 candle. We held this low down here. So what we'd want to see pretty much is to get a retest of kind of this high up here possibly, or we're looking at this area here being the Monday high, or that would be the previous day high, or right there at the 52. So I would say we're looking like this right here would be our plan. Kind of push back up and see what happens. We're going to basically look to get stuck inside this 52 to that 60 area, or we push up here into the 80s. We know that the pre-market high with those numbers came out were the 88s, but we also know that kind of like this structure here at the 62s was being resistance. We bounced off the bottom down there at open and squeezed back up. Let's see how this plays out here. See, we got stuck pretty much in this level here, and we pulled back. So our short entry would have been like right here short when this candle broke to the downside out of this move there. So that was actually the trade that we were going to take there on Tuesday either way. So that was kind of the move that we were looking for. You can see the key here was the previous day high being that Monday high, being the key level to keep an eye on. So we basically pushed up at open. We couldn't get above that pre-market high. We pulled back and then got stuck below that previous day high. We then had that fair value gap pop up there on the 15-minute chart. If we go to the 3-minute chart now, we can see that move here, getting stuck, basically that fair value gap right there. We got stuck and we pulled back. So now I would say we want to kind of push up into this level right here again, get stuck, and then we look for a really nice short opportunity to get this move down into the hundreds from there. So we basically look for this to push up. We're pushing up here. We almost got up there to that fair value gap. Let's see if we're going to get up there now. So we push up that fair value gap right there. Okay, so we can see now what happens. We didn't get above it there. We pushed up to, there was like a little fair value gap right there at the 38s, and then we pulled back. But let's see what happens here if we get denied. Getting denied here is where we were looking earlier. Remember, that was at 12, 11 o'clock. So this is like the end of day now that we pushed back up into that previous day high and got stuck there. So, you know, if we were trading this, we pretty much would have had to wait until this gets up in almost the end of the day here. So in terms of a setup, maybe we got to set up off that low, that previous month high right there, turning into support. But in general, this level was really the interesting level to focus on. And let's see how this pulls back or rallies up here at the end of day. And yeah, kind of a little pullback there. I wouldn't say it was massive, but from the 48s down there to the 38s, so about a 10-handle move. So that key for Monday really was this level right here, being that focus, that previous day high level. So the previous day high, definitely the big focus there on Tuesday for the price action. and then that previous month high. You can actually see that what's interesting here is that we had that kind of double bottom right there at 1045, this little level. And guess what happened? We swept below there. So we got below that level. And then once we got below that level, we kind of swept liquidity and then got back above. So this would be a good entry for long, seeing that we're kind of below this liquidity level, but we're holding there. And then we get that push back up. So that would kind of be your setup here for a long off the bottom. When we kind of get below that liquidity level, we had that big wick there at 1045, pushed back up, and then got below that level and went sideways and then popped it back up. So kind of interesting to look at there. Let's go to the next 945 here. Just zoom along. This is on TradingView doing the replay feature, so we can kind of we'll go to the 15-minute chart here. It'll be a little faster. 9:15, that's normally when I get on the computer here. So right about there. 9:15, perfect, on the dot. So here on Wednesday, what do we have? Let's look at the action, look at the levels. We have this pre-market high right there, 41s. We had that previous Monday high right there at the 50s. So pretty much looking, I would say, for Wednesday, what I would like to see is we got this wick on that candle there. So we want to see this kind of area get tested there. And I would say like right kind of, we'll say like in that level there. We want to get tested this level here for that move down. We got the pre-market. We got that monthly high down there at the 109s again, and that previous day low there at the 104s. So let's see what happens here at open. And we have the Monday high up there at the 50s. So basically we did not get above like the overnight high. That was on Tuesday, the previous day high, but overnight we basically got stuck right there at the 40s. So right now here at open, we're getting stuck there at the top of these wicks right here, but we still haven't gotten that like liquidity sweep and getting that push back up in that level that we're looking for. We'd like to get a little kind of break up in this level and then get denied to pull back there, which we just kind of did right there. We got that liquidity sweep right above that level up there to the 46s, not getting above the Monday high and then pulling back from a nice little move there from the 46s. So here on your entry would be basically jumping back in once we get back above this candle high right there, that 42 level, and then down there are the 27s. But let's see, I think this goes even lower from here. And then you can see that pullback there, kind of again, kind of sweeping liquidity and then spiking up there 55s. And then I think we kind of pushed up here. Let's see where we pushed up to. And that was the end of the day there. So basically the end of the day there, we pushed up there to the 60s, which was like kind of right there in general. And you can see on the 15-minute chart kind of that overall momentum pushing to the upside there, getting that higher low right there at the 28s. We had that liquidity and we pushed up there. So I would say here that pre-market high was definitely an area to watch. The trend overall pushing higher. We did get a nice little, you would get a little short there out the 40s down there to the 20s. But then once we put in that higher low right here, we put in that higher low off this level, then you're thinking, okay, I want to jump in long there. Let's look at the 3-minute chart right here. So here on the 3-minute chart, you can see we had that fair value gap from the 11, 12, and that was basically 28 level here, 28 right there, and then that 31. So we ended up actually pulling back right into that fair value gap area after hitting that high, and then we made that move up there. So again, that kind of fair value gap being a good entry there, both long and short here in terms of wanting to be long here, short at the top, and then getting that move down. But in terms of the pre-market action, you know, that overall high was the big focus there, and then that little lower high right there at 845 kind of getting stuck inside there. We pulled all the way back down there to the 112s and then pushed up there to that previous day high. So the previous day high, again, big focus on the chart there. So going into open, what do we have? We have the Monday low being the 86s here. So the 86 is a key level to focus on. This level right here, we want to see that basically be resistance. That previous day low right now as well, acting as resistance. We broke out of this triangle and we started pushing up here on the 15-minute chart. So I would say that Monday low was the big focus, and then that previous day low right there. That Monday low and that previous day low basically giving us a pretty good area to look for a short opportunity here at open. You can see the overall market has been selling off there. Let's see what happens if this plays out and kind of hits that Monday low and then pulls back here at open. Let's go to the 3-minute chart to see if we can find a better entry. And here we go. Did not push all the way to that previous day high, but what we did get is this high off of this pre-market high right there, the 83s acting as a resistance right there. So right there acting as a resistance, 83s. So we could have had that identified, and I think you pretty much would have wanted it like this to go through there off that little high, and then that 83 high being resistance there. We can see how we held that low there at open, that 72 level, and then squeezed up, kind of a fake out there, a little fake out. We pull back, we then push up. This is at 9:33. We push up at open. We get stuck there on that 3-minute candle. If we go to the 1-minute time frame, we can probably see it even better. But we push up, we get stuck. We kind of pop that liquidity for a second. We push up here to the 83s. We then get denied, and then we pull it all the way back here to the 53s. And that low down there was the previous week low that we hit off of. So again, I would say, you know, that previous pre-market high being very important. That was there on that move. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Those previous pre-market highs and lows, key levels, interesting levels. Because if we look here, let's go to the 3-minute chart, maybe 5-minute chart actually. If we go to the 5-minute chart here and we look at this thing, we can see how there's that wick right there. We can see basically these wicks right here were very important to focus on. We had that wick right there at 920. It pushed up. So really you're like looking for this to kind of push up into this level, you know, that 82, 83 level, and then getting that move down. And then your entry, I would think, really your entry is like once we get denied right there. So we're pretty much like, so we pretty much have these candle, that little wick right there, and that wick gets tested. And then you can see if we go back and just look here, there was a high right there, the 83 from that overnight session. So if we look and we draw that 83 across there, and then we zoom in here, would you look at that? You get the swing to the downside, the push back up, the liquidity grab, and then that beautiful move down here on the 1-minute chart. And again, that's pretty much what you're looking for. Short opportunity. You're wanting to get short once we test that previous level with those candles, those ticks, those wicks, or whatever you want to call them there, the wicks. Testing those wicks and then getting that move down there. So from the 82s down there to the 57s. And where do we bounce at on Friday here? We're kind of bouncing off that previous week low. And you can see pushing back up there again, getting stuck at that Monday low. And the previous day low acting as a resistance right there, 1020. And again, that Monday low acting as a resistance. So like a triple top at that point. And guess what we did? We ended up pulling back all the way to that previous week low. And I think we end up just pushing back up here at a certain point. We're holding that previous week low there. You can see starting to, again, just test that previous week low. That previous week low, look at how many times interacting with that previous week low there. And I think we end up just kind of chopping around here, and end of day, a little squeeze back up to that previous day low right there. And yep, pretty much on the dot. Look at those levels, those previous day low, the previous day low, previous week low, and the Monday low right there, all pretty much acting as support, resistance, and all that. So there it is, just basically going through and talking through these charts, taking a look at what I'm looking at and what I'm thinking about, what I need to be focused on. You know, I would say at the end of the day, we really just need to focus on the pre-market action in terms of where those highs are, where those resistance are, where is the previous day low, the Monday low, and kind of really come up with a plan. You really are looking for those liquidity grabs. You want to see the market push back up into those levels, get stuck, get denied, and then we're going to get some really good entries off of those liquidity grabs. So that's kind of my big focus for this next week, is just to really just wait, be patient, look for those liquidity grabs. Once we get those liquidity grabs, then we can enter a trade, then we can make a move, and that's what we're looking for. So we know that the market loves to do these fake outs. It might not be right away. It might not be all day long. You know, every single trade might not be perfect, but what we're looking for is really those good quality setups where we get those liquidity grabs and then we get some really, really good risk to reward trades. So there it is. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe button. I've done it all live right here on the YouTube, 9:15 a.m. I'll see you guys then. Peace.